Hello, everyone, and welcome to our eclipse feng shui of the week. So there is a lunar eclipse Sagittarius this week, and I'm trying to settle everything here so that I'm actually looking in the right place. I think I'm looking at you now. I think so. I feel like I'm looking up. I'm trying to sort this out as people are logging on. Okay. Sagittarius eclipse is big, great vibes. This is something of the end of a whole cycle. Big deal. End of a whole cycle. Big deal because we have been in a series of eclipses in Gemini and Sagittarius for a long time. Saturday is the eclipse. So we've had Gemini, Sagittarius, Gemini, Sagittarius. Usually the eclipses come in pairs. And the eclipse season that's been here since June of 2020 has been Gemini, Sagittarius. There's been a lot going on in that time. I look back to the moon note. I write these moon notes and send them out with all this moon feng shui. So before I started doing this, I've been doing that forever. I feel like for 7 years. And I looked back to the moon note that I wrote for the June eclipse of 2020 where this began, and it was after the giant all of the protests were happening in America, and there were on my block, it turned into, not on my block, in my whole neighborhood and in a lot of Los Angeles, it turned into a big looting riot. It was a wild night and day and night. And it was the start of like this opening up of energy, people seeking equality, people seeking, there was also other forces. There were people seeking equality and other forces involved that had nothing to do with that. So I don't want to equate the two. Please understand that. But it was this sort of surreal opening for me to this eclipse season. And out of it came learning, out of it came wisdom, out of it came elevating the voices of people whose voices needed to be elevated. Out of it came a lot of self-inquiry, knowing what you know. A lot of it came a move toward more individuality, more freedom, more personal expression, more equality. There's a lot in Gemini and Sagittarius eclipses that spoke a lot to new ways of communicating, new ways of innovating. In general, the pandemic has been through a lot of this eclipse pattern. New ways of navigating freedom versus feeling restricted, all sorts of things, a sense of needing to learn in new ways, kids at school on Zoom, people learning more online, working online, all these different new patterns that came in that have become sort of I don't want to say normal. They're not all normal, but have become normalized during this time. So that was one big piece of the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse season. And out of it, again, a lot of really big, powerful, necessary things have come. And also a lot of things have shifted. And chances are, since, if you look back at life from then, go all the way back in your memory banks to then to now, how much have you learned? How much have you grown? How much have you gained? And it's about taking that wisdom now into this new set of eclipses, this new energy, all this new, and really capitalizing on that and moving forward with this newfound purpose, newfound energy, all of this new. So to begin, this is not just a new fresh start. This is a giant fresh start. This is a real new chapter. And if you were writing a book and this was the new chapter was starting, what do you want that chapter to be about? What's the topic of that chapter? What does it look like and feel like? And as we're getting close to a new year, I really like to think about that. Like, what's this new chapter? What's this going to be about? And it just so happens that this phase shift, and there's even more phase shifts coming, but this phase shift in terms of themes is happening right now. So what is that chapter for you? Now, Sagittarius is fire, fire energy, all this fire, forward motion, fire, and a lot of your self actualization, actualizing your potential, going out there, being an individual, being unbridled, knowing what you know, trusting your intuition, trusting yourself more, feeling that feeling like you chart your own course, you create your own destiny. And before we begin to chart a new course or create something new, it's important to have a clean slate. We talk about this a lot in different ways in life. You get out of one relationship, you want to start a new one, you want closure first, or you want a clean slate. You want to start baking something, making a big dinner. Sometimes you have to kind of clean up the kitchen first, clean slate, so that you can begin. Clean slate is really important. And so as we think about moving into a new year, a new start, all of this, all the stuff of passion, unbridled, all of these things really thrive in clear space. In Feng Shui, energy gets blocked, right? If energy gets blocked or stuck or heavy or stagnant, then you don't feel like showing up and doing things. You don't feel like moving forward. You feel like staying in bed. You feel like checking out. You feel like calling it off. You feel like canceling the plans. You don't feel like doing all the things. And now it's just simply not an option. This is a time of action. This is a time of motion. This is a time of actualizing your potential. So when you hear me say this, what comes to mind? What has been lagging? What has been feeling stuck? What has been feeling like it's not moving the way that you want it to move? And this is a time where you're going to clear the road so that you can make it happen. And to begin doing all of this, one of the first things that I love to do is for every new moon, you hear me say this, clean your house and clear clutter, clear things, open the road up. Tomorrow, well, I'm recording this tomorrow, but below you'll find a link to the free Feng Shui video series, which starts tomorrow if you're watching this in real time. But it's going to be there for a while for you. It's up for a few weeks this year, and it is a free class and immersion in clearing clutter, clearing energies that are stuck, just getting unstuck in your space and in your life. Your space is affecting you all day long. It's a mirror of you. So clearing all of this stuff so that you can soar and you can move forward without obstacles, without things in your way. So start with that fresh start, that deep cleansing, clearing. Every new moon, it's a great thing. But for this one, again, this new moon is so much of a new start. We want to really cleanse and clear the road ahead. Any place that you personally feel held back or stuck or challenged, this is the time to say, okay, I see this, I get it, I acknowledge that it's here, but I'm ready to let it go. I'm going to let it go as I take out the trash. I'm going to let it go as I clear up these things. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go. A lot of times with eclipses, things either get eclipsed out of your life or eclipsed into your life. And usually when one happens, the other happens. So I just eclipsed out an old washer and dryer and eclipsed in a new one. I wasn't expecting to, but it was just one of the many things that have come up that have had to be eclipsed out. I eclipsed out an old blog design that was dear to my heart and all the things around it. And it's now being rebuilt for the new year. Well, for this month, actually, which was a big eclipsing out and eclipsing in of the new. None of this stuff, again, I was necessarily expecting. It's all stuff that I could roll with. But sometimes when things start happening, when things get shaken up, you're like, wait a second, too much change at once. Slow down. Trust whatever's happening, whatever's shaking up, whatever's moving, that it's all for the greatest good. I will tell you right now, I feel completely different having a new washer and dryer, and I feel so thrilled. I feel the most excited I've been in years. except for when I started the School of Intention, the professional training, to have this new blog and all the features and all the things that I could share with you guys, because now everything, all the feng shui is going to be in one place, and it's going to be all so user friendly. And there's so much that's new that's coming, and to have that as a resource for all of you thrills me. And it just opens doors to so much more creativity. And I wouldn't have done it had the universe not just gone, boom, there you go. We're going to eclipse the old one out. My blog is still up, but right now I can't post on it until it's completed in the redesign. So it's just technologically unable. It's 11 years old. So there you have it. This is sometimes how things go. Roll with it. Roll with it, and know that if you're being handed it, you can handle it for sure. And if you feel like you need support, if you feel like you need help, reach out to people. Reach out, ask me to make you a video. I'm happy to help. Ask people for their support. Coming together is also a big piece of this. A lot of this has to do with the position of Chiron, the wounded healer, and all of this stuff to do with how we can have more compassion, how we can connect more, how we can be of greater service. People are happy to help, who love you. And there's so many people who just live to help in general. They're people of service. I love helping people if I can. And I'm getting better and better at receiving help as well. This is very important. So to get unstuck, to open the doors, to eliminate any perceived limitations, that's this time. Now, as you're opening space for passion to flow in, also think about how you can bring more fire energy, and not just necessarily elemental fire energy, but a feeling of sparks and sparkles to your home. Think about sparks and sparkles. How can I make this room sparkle? How can I make more sparks? How can I make this happen? And you can actually go through your house room by room and think, how can I bring this to life a little bit more? Maybe I could hang art on the wall. Maybe I could light a candle. Maybe I could add some bright color. Sparks and sparkle, sparks and sparkle. You can polish things up. Maybe I can clean the windows. Maybe I can change the light bulb and make it brighter. Sparks and sparkle make a big difference. It's going to bring you more natural energy. The idea here is not to grab energy by like loading up on coffee all day. That's like borrowing energy. The idea here is to build natural energy through inspiration, through this activation of things that you care about, that you will naturally move toward. Which brings me to this point of action. So this is a beautiful time because it's both action and attraction, action and attraction. So you're doing things, but you're also attracting things. So yin and yang. Doing things is that yang, I'm out, I'm doing things, I'm making things, I'm creating things. And yin is I'm receiving things. Things are just coming to me. Everything's just coming to me naturally. I'm magnetic. So this is both active and magnetic. Active and magnetic, balancing both the yin and the yang. Molly McCord, one of my favorite astrologers of all time. If you haven't been to her channel, please watch all that she does if you're interested in astrology. She talked about how this eclipse is actually in a relationship with the great attractor, which is this amazing point of attraction in the sky. It's this magnetic force in the sky, a point of gravity, this great attractor. And it's a symbol in many ways of becoming more magnetic ourselves. So the most magnetic you can be, in my opinion, the people who you are, the things you are the most magnetized toward tend to be joyful things, peaceful things, things that feel easy, things that feel open, things that feel open-hearted. Like we're so attracted to the angelic innocence of animals. We're so attracted toward children who are so pure and so open, people who are joyful, people who are who are true to themselves, that authenticity. All of that is so magnetic. It's really about just being more of you. That's that Sagittarius. Be yourself. Be yourself in all the ways, and enjoy things in so many ways. And that will help you to bring more of that magnetism to your life. And then the other action piece of this, that yang, is being more active, more creative. There's so much Mars energy right now. Mars, Mars, Mars. Do, do, do. Don't do to the point of burning out, but do things that bring you momentum. Do things that are like, that are kicking off that snowball effect where things just keep growing and growing as you build and build and build and build and build. And with fire energy, it's a natural momentum. It's not momentum of rolling a boulder up a hill. That's hard. That's hard work. It's the momentum of, I'm so passionate about this. Yes, if I stay at work an extra hour, that's okay. I'll make up for it later with more rest. I'm just so into this. I can't stop. Or when you're working on something, you're making something, you sit down to do it, and you realize you haven't stood up in 3 hours. It just, the time just went by. That's that fire energy of natural momentum. And that's what we're talking about harnessing now, being in that genius zone more and more. So my big note to you all is to notice what your successful actions are. What makes you successful specifically? Now, in your job, you probably have things, if you have a job, you probably have things that are successful for you. You probably have things that you do, and you know, when I do this, I get this. That's a successful action, right? When I place this ad, I get this number of customers. When I make these phone calls, I have this and this happen. When I show up at the meeting early, I tend to do better in the meeting. You kind of get a sense for yourself of what works. Now, think back to times in your life where everything was working out, a magical week, a magical day, where everything was working out. Everything was working out. What were you doing at that time? Was it a month where you slept more? Was it a month where you drank more water? Was it a month where you woke up earlier every day? Was it a month or a week or a day where you decided that you were going to start the day exercising, or start the day by taking your dog for a longer walk, or whatever it is? What were those fundamental actions, those key actions that you were taking that set this all in motion? And it might not be directly related. For instance, drinking more water in the morning and then having more money come to you might not seem related, but it's about how it makes you feel. So just think back to that time. What were you thinking about? What were you doing? What was a part of your life? I'll make a whole video on successful actions, because I think this is something we kind of take for granted. We think often, it's common to think that successful actions just apply to sort of business. But when, for instance, I wake up and journal in the morning, and I'm journaling in a flow, I tend to have more creative things happen for me. It just, my successful action, it just works for me. For you, it might be getting up and saying prayers. For someone else, it might be something that you do in the middle of the day, or a vitamin that you take, or anything else that just works for you. It aligns your energy. It brings you to the right place. It makes everything better. What are those successful actions for you? Whether it's one or several that come to mind, bring those things back. Bring them back, or if you do them now, double down on them, really lean into them. Having this be your natural fire, your natural flow, this is going to help you to move so much faster and feel so much better. Now, the last part of this for today, in terms of this eclipse and starting this new cycle and getting ready for the new, is to make not just a wish list, but 2 lists. So this is something that I learned from Catherine Ponder, who I talk about a lot because I think she's so brilliant. And Catherine Ponder talks about making a list of things you want to get rid of. So make a list of things you are ready to be rid of, and a list of things you're ready to bring into your life. I'm ready to be rid of these things. I'm ready to bring these things into my life. And when you let go of the things on the let go of list, you're actually speeding those new things on the way to you. An example of things you might want to let go of, it might be a habit. It might be a pattern. It might be I want to let go of the stuff in my closet that I don't wear. I want to let go of a certain problem. I'm over having just enough time in the morning to run out the door. I'm over skipping lunch. I'm ready to be rid of this feeling like I never have enough time for myself. I'm ready to get rid of this feeling that I'm not organized. I'm ready to get rid of this feeling of looking back at the past or overthinking, whatever it is that you feel like you're just ready to be done with it. And also the things. I'm ready to be done with the pillows on the sofa that I don't like. I'm ready to be done with this, whatever it is at my wall, the art on my wall. I'm ready to paint something new or get something new. All the things you're ready to release, all the things you're ready to bring into your life. 2 lists: the let go of list and the bring in list. And some of those let go of list things might just start happening, or you might start finding solutions just by writing the list. Someone might come to you after you write the list and you put on your list that you're ready to get rid of eating sugar in the middle of the day. And someone might come to you and say, hey, I just got this I Quit Sugar program. Do you want to do it with me? Like, this is the kind of stuff that tends to happen when we decide. When we decide, and decisions clear space, they put the wheels in motion. So write that list of things to eliminate, write that list of things to bring in. Be neutral about both of them, meaning don't beat yourself up for things you want to get rid of that you don't like. Just acknowledge they're on the way out. And all the things that are coming in, acknowledge they're on the way in. And find in the present moment more and more of the things that make you feel really good. Those successful action, those little things, those things that tap you into your genius. Let that be what carries you forward, and really do take stock of any wisdom you have gained, any things you have learned, any new things you've brought into your life, events, happenings, growth that you've done since last June of 2020, and see how that helps to carry you forward, acknowledging and celebrating your incredible value. The time ahead is so abundant. The time ahead is so full of energy. And it's time to just get ready to receive more and more and more of it. Yes. Below in the comment box, you will find a link to the free Feng Shui decluttering video series. So do dive in if you're ready to clear some space. If you have questions, comments, always feel free. Reach out to me. If you want me to make a video about something that you need help with, please feel free to do so. I'm so happy to help if I can. And I am wishing you the most amazing eclipse. And this eclipse energy is going to be here for a long time as it unfolds its final cycle, this final this grand finale of the cycle. So really get into the spirit of this, and no, you don't have to do it all this weekend. It's going to keep unfolding, but when you decide, it really sets the wheels in motion. There's nothing like powerful decisions to change your life in all the most amazing ways. So have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Mwah. I'm so happy to see you as well. And I will see you guys in about a week or two, and more videos to come in the meantime. Mwah. Bye, everyone.